What's up guys, my name is Matt, and I've noticed this video, a video that I posted nearly 5 months ago, is once again exploding. That video being the one video probably every single one of my subscribers have seen. That being my how to farm 200 strange coins and 20 packages a week. I still don't know how that video has over 200,000 views. But I've noticed this video has once again become relevant, probably due to everyone wanting to get rank 25 for the record book. And while the topics discussed in that video will never be patched and will always work, since Age of Triumph brought back the ever so glorious Nightfall buff, I've decided to revisit this method and optimize it even further. I'm also very aware that my strange coin farming method is considered somewhat confusing, and I'm also aware that I missed an important detail when making that guide, that being Ether Seeds and Blackwax Isles being able to be used for synths for a much cheaper price. But enough rambling, let's revisit this method. I'm going to break this video into 3 parts. First, I'm going to cover the rep gains possible for each zone in the Plaguelands, those being Lord's Watch, the Giant Husk, Archon's Keep, the Rocket Yard, and the Divide. I will then cover what I hope is an easier to understand version of the route you should take and the patrols to avoid. Within this section, I will also discuss the secret patrol, which in my past method was the focal point, and while it is still an important part of this method, it'll play less of a role. And in the final section, I'll discuss when you should visit the tower, what to do in the tower, and why you need to do those things. If you follow this method on a fairly regular basis and put some effort into it, I can promise you that you'll hit rank 25 in any of the 3 allegiance to factions within a few weeks. It should also be mentioned that this run assumes that you have the Nightfall buff, so if you don't have it, be sure to beat the Nightfall before doing this run. It's also helpful, but not required, if you have a ghost that has the perk Ether Seeds for some extra glimmer while killing Fallen. Also, if by some chance you haven't seen my other video, it covers some things that I won't cover in this video, and if you wish to watch that video, you can find a link in the description. With all that out of the way, let's dive into this. So as I stated, the first section, I'll be covering the potential rep gains possible for each zone in the Plaguelands. And first, we'll look at Lord's Watch. Lord's Watch has 2 patrol beacons, each with 1 of 4 possible patrols, those being Kill, Collect, Navigate, and Assassination. These 2 beacons have an ideal combination, those being Navigation and Assassination patrols, granting 136 Vanguard rep and 62 Allegiance faction rep. Now, I'm certain many of you are curious why this is the ideal situation, and that's based on this chart. As you can see, there's a lot of situations that can occur, and all of them are purely RNG. I will say this though, no matter what you have in Lord's Watch patrol-wise, or any zone for that matter, this chart is purely in place to show you the potential each zone has, and is here to show you, the viewer, why this method works. And from here on out, for this section, I will give all the information for each zone all at once visually, and only briefly describe the ideal situations. So with that said, let's move on to the Giant Husk. The Giant Husk has 3 patrol beacons, each with 1 of 4 possibilities, those being Kill, Collect, Navigate, and Quarantine, with 2 ideal combinations being Kill, Navigate, and Quarantine, or Collect, Navigate, and Quarantine, both producing 281 Vanguard rep and 127 Allegiance faction reputation. The next zone is Archon's Keep, and this zone is the bane of this route. This has potential for not only being the best zone, but also is the worst. This zone has 3 patrol beacons as well, with 1 of 6 possible patrols, those being Kill, Collect, Navigate, Assassinate, Quarantine, and the worst possible outcome, the Anomaly. This zone has 1 ideal combination, being Navigate, Assassinate, and Quarantine, producing 294 Vanguard rep, and 133 Allegiance faction rep. But this zone also has potential to roll 3 Anomaly patrols, making this zone worth 0 reputation in that situation, as the Anomaly wastes too much time. And even though having 3 anomalies is fairly uncommon, having at least 1 is incredibly common, making this zone both the best and the worst. The 4th zone is the Rocket Yard. This also has 3 patrol beacons, with 1 of 4 possibilities, each of those being, once again, Kill, Collect, Navigate, and Quarantine. And like the Giant Husk, this zone also has 2 ideal combinations, being Kill, Navigate, and Quarantine, or Collect, Navigate, and Quarantine, both producing, once again, 281 Vanguard rep and 127 Allegiance faction reputation. That leaves the last zone, the Divide. This zone, like many others, has 3 patrol beacons, with one of 4 possibilities of each, but this time being identical to the Lord's Watch, with kill, collect, navigate, and assassination potentially occurring. This creates a unique best case combination of assassination, and navigate, which produces 204 Vanguard reputation and 93 Allegiance faction reputation. Now I want to remind you guys, all these ideal combinations I've mentioned so far will not occur every time. So before we move on to the actual route, I want to show you these charts. These charts not only show the best case scenario, but also the worst case scenario for all zones combined, as well as the average rep to expect per run of this route. As you can see, if you are incredibly lucky, you can earn up to 1,196 Vanguard rep and 542 Allegiance faction rep, which means theoretically you can gain a Vanguard rank once every 2.5 runs, and an Allegiance faction rank once every 5 runs. But I like to be transparent with you guys and also show you the worst case scenario, where you gain 605 Vanguard rep and 275 Allegiance rep, which slows us down to a Vanguard rank every 5 and an Allegiance rank every 10 runs. But I'd also like to point out both the best and worst case scenarios will rarely, if ever, happen, and will more often than not average out to 900 Vanguard rep and 409 Allegiance rep, making this run on average produce a Vanguard rank every 3 runs and an Allegiance rank every 6 or so runs. But if you've seen my other video or feel this seems a little underwhelming, there's a second part to this method that has not been mentioned, involving material exchange, which I'll discuss in the 3rd section of this video. I also haven't mentioned the Secret Patrol, which produces 2 to 3 strange coins almost every time you run this route, which I'm going to discuss now. Last time I made a video on this topic, that video's equivalent of this section was very confusing. Many of you let me know this in the comment section, and I hope now, with the new route, this won't be an issue, as it's very simple to follow. At least I hope. Upon entering patrols, your goal is to accomplish 2 things. 1, complete as many patrols as possible in each zone without repeating a zone, and 2, hoping you trigger the secret patrol. I'd also like to mention that another huge issue with my previous video is that many were confused as to what the secret patrol was. If you're one of those people, this is the one called the Curious and the Curiouser, where you have to complete 3 tasks such as critical kills, dancing, and generating orbs, to name a few. This is also the one upon completion that rewards you with 2 to 3 strange coins, which used to play a huge role in the old method, but now is just something that happens. But with that said, let's talk about the method. The method is fairly simple. Once a patrol is complete every patrol in the Lord's Watch. From here, move to the Giant Husk, and once again, complete every patrol. Once you are done there, move to Archon's Keep. This is the only section you want to avoid a patrol entirely, that being the Anomaly. The Anomaly is not only terrible for rep, but also takes the longest to complete out of any patrol. So when in Archon's Keep, do every patrol except for the Anomaly. And as I stated before, the Anomaly can appear multiple times in the zone. It can appear once, twice, or even 3 times. Do what you can in the zone and move on. From Archon's Keep, head back to Lord's Watch. If by chance patrols have reset, do them here again. If not, which is more likely the case, your next zone is the Rocket Yard. Once in the Rocket Yard, again complete every patrol in the zone, except for navigation patrols. You will come back to complete the navigation patrol later, but this is the only time in the route you'll skip a patrol to come back to, and that's in this zone. After completing the Rocket Yard, except for the potential navigation patrol, head to the Divide and once again complete every patrol in the zone. And if you did skip a navigation patrol in the Rocket Yard, go back and do it. During this route, at some point, you will more than likely find the secret patrol. No matter what point in the route you receive this patrol, complete it and then make sure you continue the route. To give you an example, if you complete Lord's Watch, the Giant Husk, and halfway through Archon's Keep, you find the secret patrol. Upon completion, be sure to finish Archon's Keep and continue to the Rocket Yard and Divide. Once you finish the Divide, return to orbit and repeat it as many times as you'd like. So now you understand the route. You understand the potential rep games, but there's one final thing that makes this route so good for rep, and that's the glimmer you gain from completing patrols and potentially from killing Fallen if you have the right ghost. So in this final section, as stated earlier, I'll go over when to visit the tower, what to do in the tower, and why you do it. After completing a run, there are 2 questions you need to answer before starting your next run. Those being, did I level up a faction during that run? And do I have close to max glimmer? If you say yes to either of these, you need to visit the tower. If you simply leveled a faction, visit the correct faction leader, grab your 4 strange coins, 4 motes, and 500 glimmer, and your gear piece, and return to orbit. The only reason we do this is if you get multiple packages without picking them up from the right leader, they will overwrite each other. But if you are close to max glimmer, there's a few things you can do. First, if you have Aether Seeds or Black Wax Idols, either visit Barracks in the Reef and purchase Heavy Synths for 250 glimmer and 1 Aether Seed, or visit Eris Morn and purchase Heavy Synths for 250 glimmer and 1 Black Wax Idol. After using all your Aether Seeds and Black Wax Idols, any remaining glimmer you have should be spent on either weapon parts or armor materials. I've explained why you should buy armor materials or weapon parts in the previous version of this method, but I hope that you can trust me when I say they are the most cost effective when it comes to rep gained per glimmer. If you really want to, you don't have to spend your glimmer how I suggest. You can use it to buy ships or sparrows or shaders for your Age of Triumph record book and still gain 10 to 15 faction ranks a week doing this. But if you want to focus on rep after you've done all this, ran the route numerous times, completed the secret patrol numerous times, getting strange coins, leveling up your factions, getting more strange coins, purchasing heavy synths and weapon parts or armor materials, if you really want to maximize rep, when Xur visits the tower, use all your strange coins on heavy synths. You can purchase 10 synths for 3 coins, and I can promise you, if you follow this method, you have hundreds at this point. Every 81 synths you purchase with the Nightfall buff active, a total of only 27 strange coins is 1 more faction rank. If you've hoarded your weapon parts, motes, synths, everything you've earned while doing this method, when you visit your faction leader and turn all of your materials in, you will gain somewhere in the realm of 10 to 15 ranks. As I said, it only takes 81 heavy synths to gain a rank, but it also only takes 100 motes and only 1025 armor materials or weapon parts to gain a faction level as well. This will generate more strange coins, more motes, and more glimmer, meaning even more rep. If you play regularly, even from rank 0, I can almost promise you'll gain a minimum of 25 ranks for that faction. Now, while the Nightfall buff has only been around for a week at the time of posting this video, I want to give you guys perspective on the power of even the older version of this method. When Rise of Iron launched, I was 8 Vanguard, 2 Future War Cult, 0 Dead Orbit, and 4 New Monarchy on my Titan. Today, I am 98 Vanguard, 45 Future War Cult, 91 Dead Orbit, and 14 New Monarchy. A grand total of 234 faction ranks since Rise of Iron's launch, all in what I consider casually following this and my older method. If there's anything you guys take from this, I hope it helps you hit rank 25 in all the factions you need to for your record book. If it wasn't obvious, this video took a long time to make. So if you could, I'd appreciate at the very least a comment letting me know what you think of this method. And if you did enjoy it or it did help you, I would greatly appreciate a like as well. I'd also like to take a second to mention the community Discord provided by my friends over at Multilux, where you can get in contact with me and other content creators, and if that interests you, a link can be found in the description. Also, I may or may not have 30 Destiny 2 beta codes that I'll be giving away on Twitter, in Discord, and on my channel over the next few weeks. Regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you for the support. But I'm gonna get out of here, say my name is Matt, and I'll see you guys next time.